Done is by sticking to teamwork and working together for a common goal, we rolled Governor Hobgoblin, well, last year on the budget, and we did it this year on getting some election integrity reform. We got her to agree to pretty much approve most of the things that she vetoed last year. We got that into a bill that we got through, and she signed today. Yesterday. The cool thing about it was, because of the threshold for automatic recounts was reduced down to 0.5%, which would have triggered the counties from having to do a lot of recounts on ballots that came too close, elections that came too close. We were able to they needed more time to get that done, so we had to extend the deadline, or actually, we had to move up the primary up a week, so that way the counties can actually recuperate and recover for after the election. We got signature verification reform. We got that finally into statute. That way the Secretary of State can't monkey around with the election procedure manual and so on and so forth. Now, this pertains to candidates out there that are worried about, we moved the primary up one week. The date on your petitions, for August 8th, doesn't matter, because those are already grandfathered in. So you're fine. The petitions that you have right now with the August date are good. If you make new petitions, there's a change of date. So anyway, you're grandfathered in on that, so you don't have to sweat that out. But the one key things are, we finally got it in there to make sure we have chain of custody, solid, and we have signature verification that's more solid. We got a lot of things done. We couldn't get everything done, but we got 90% of what we got in that piece of legislation. And Hobbs she's even publicly complaining that she got nothing out of this. Well, that means she just admitted she got rolled like a donut. So, anyway, when I talk about teamwork, that's what it takes at the state legislature. We need to have teamwork. You know what? I'm proud of Leo and John. We stick together as a team. Maricopa County can't roll us. And we stick together, and they know it, and we get things done as a team. So this is not me, this is John and Leo. So you guys have your own little piece of enlightenment. Here's John.
Well, thank you very much. What Sonny's going to tell you, none of this happens without leadership. Yes, we're a team. I'm the freshman, brand new guy, low on the totem pole. But these guys, being majority leaders, they have great influence over the caucus. And without their leadership, none of this happens. I won't talk about the closed caucus that we had over this bill. It was ugly, but when we walked out of the room, we had almost 100% agreement. And this is what's different from us than the Democrats. Our majority leader said, it comes down to this: vote your conscience, do what you think is right. That's how we left the room. So everybody knew you should vote for this because of good reasons, but if you don't support it, we're not going to throw you under the bus like the Democrats. So that's not only teamwork, but that's leadership, and we don't survive without that. But on the bill, I got one tiny little piece in. I brought it to Leo's attention, and I get to cheat just a little bit because the majority leader is my teammate. And I'm like, hey, this says state buildings. He'd already changed it once, but it said state buildings could be used as polling locations. So now it says government buildings. What building is supported by the government? Pretty much everything in county, city, local government. So think about your precincts and polling places. How many polling places could you have in a precinct? Could they be small enough to maybe vote or hand count? It's in the bill, she signed it. So that was my small thing. But these folks have been working on this a long time. I've got two other bills that I'm running that I think will go with it. Now we saw they beat Sonny up over the summer. They beat Leo up over the summer on the previous election stuff where they said, well, the court doesn't want to challenge this. The county said we don't want to give up this information because we don't want the audits going to third-party vendors. I've got a bill that hopefully will be heard this week. It allows the Auditor General of the state of Arizona to audit the Secretary of State voter rolls and the computer system in which they use. So their software that they want to protect will now be accessible by the Auditor General. Thank you. But get this. the schools, the governor, us, everybody trusts the state auditor general. They're an impartial, nonpartisan body, and they count widgets. They look at programs, they look at numbers. So these are the folks. How does Hobbs not sign this bill? If she doesn't sign it, she's impugning the character of the auditor general, which she just said, this is what we rely upon for our budget. You can't have it both ways. You gotta sign it or you not sign it. And if she doesn't sign it, where do we go? I mean, I'll put a billboard up. Governor Hobbs doesn't trust Auditor General's office. Don't trust the numbers from Katie Hobbs. So this is where we're going with it. Another bill is physical residence. Now, I've worked with Jeannie on this a lot. I've worked with DPS. How long do you have to live in Arizona to be a state resident? Anyone know? See the mixture of answers? Because it's not uniform across the board. For the assessor's office, it's 181 days. For voting, it's 29 days with the intent to stay, and you can get a voter registration card. Who's gonna do that? Everybody that wants to vote. So that will make it a uniform 181 days for DPS, for the assessor, taxes, everything will be 6 months and 1 day, matching your federal law. Everybody knows what a homestead exemption is? You only get one. Wherever your homestead exemption is, that's where you live. That's where you pay federal taxes. So you can't have two. You can't be in Arizona and California and vote in both places. So that's the little contributions. There's a bunch more bills. Please go on to azleg.gov, look up our bills, look up what the Democrats are going to do. I think Leo's going to talk about that, some of the crazy stuff they have on board, like free IDs for the homeless so they can vote.
Killing a baby on the table.
Yeah, killing a baby on the table, kill switches in cars, turning off the features in your cars. There's actually a bill, so if you buy, most of us in here drive a truck, you buy the LTZ and you drive it off the dealership lot, within 60 days, you're gonna get a message on your screen. You need to renew your subscription for your heated seat and your electric seatbelt. Yes, no kidding, that is a bill. We're gonna kill it in committee. It's not leaving committee. It's gonna be done. But I'm gonna turn it over to Leo. He's gonna give you the nuts and bolts of the voter bill, and it's good. You folks will like it. Thank you very much.
So really quickly before I start, Senator Borrelli, like Kelly mentioned, is termed out. So I'm going to ask you guys really quickly, give this man a round of applause. Sonny is an absolute rock star. And this is a man who taught me everything I know. The reason I have been successful is because I have followed his footsteps. And Mohave County is a better place because of this man right here. So thank you, Sonny, for everything you've done. And then behind me, already talking, because he's a freshman, that's what they do. Rep Gillette is beyond the Rookie of the Year at the legislature. And I talk about this because as a majority leader, my job 99% of the time is to be the principal, the counselor, the therapist for all my members. This guy never comes in my office. He'll come to me to ask questions or for guidance, but he never complains, he never cries, he's never like, Leo, why did you put me next to this person on the floor? He just gets the job done, and I've never been so proud of somebody than John Gillette. So now here's the sad news, which I gotta talk about, because we need to know the seriousness of this next election, which I know a lot of you know, but I really want to be clear on what is at jeopardy right now, what's at stake this next election coming up. So, first of all, the Democrats have successfully put on the ballot the abortion bill. It'll be on the ballot, they'll have the signatures. I need you to understand what this does. Now, this thing has already passed in other states, including Ohio not too long ago. And they are extremely smart with their language, they're extremely crafty to where literally it says, oh, if the mother has any kind of mental stress, mental issues, she can have an abortion. I want you to think about those words. Right? Because if you say that, you're talking up to birth. Right? The mother can be stressed, she can be depressed. There can be all sorts of things that she can make the decision with the doctor to say, you know what, I'm not ready for this, I want an abortion, it would be legal. They have passed this through other states because their messaging has been really good. To the point where when I was in Ohio visiting my in-laws My mother-in-law told me, she says, what's the big deal? You're telling the mother her life's in danger. She can do what she needs to do with the doctor if she's about to die. I'm like, that is not what the bill says. But the messaging was so well done by the left that they tricked everybody. And so when she found out, she was devastated. She was, I cannot believe that they painted the picture that way. That same bill is in Arizona on this ballot in November. The only way that we win, we need a record turnout. We need to have a 90% turnout. We have to. It's the only way it's going to work. It's the only way it's going to work. And let me tell you, if we do not have a 90% turnout, Arizona is done. The country is gone. And I always tell people, look, DC is important, I get it. But nothing's more important than your own backyard. Right? The 10th Amendment's there for a reason, state rights are here for a reason, we protect the state. We up here protect the state, the legislature, because we know that when the states fall, the country's over. So when you have abortion on the ballot in Arizona, and if we lose the House and Senate in Arizona, you will literally have a governor, AG, Secretary of State, a House, and a Senate all under Democrat control. I need you to really understand what I'm telling you here. If that happens, it will be 2 years of complete control. We can't do anything about it. So let me tell you what will happen if that happens. If we do not get out and tell people to vote, let me tell you what's going to happen. These are all bills that the Democrats have run or are running this year. Provide free health care to all illegal immigrants. That's a bill in the Arizona House right now from the Democrats. Right to work state would be repealed. This would mean Arizona would become a union state. This is a bill in the Arizona House right now from the Democrats. Automatic voter registration on the same day. That's a bill. Think about this really quickly. This is saying you can literally go to the poll and say, I'm an Arizona resident, and they will let you vote. You think fraud would happen if that's allowed? Not at all, right? All day long. It's another bill in the Arizona House right now. National popular vote. Hell no. That's a bill right now in the Arizona House from the Democrats. Voting age, 16. It's a bill being run by a Democrat in the Arizona House. They would repeal, this is another bill, repeal. 2 years ago, we passed a bill that said that men cannot play women's sports in the state of Arizona. That passed and was signed by Governor Ducey in 2022. They have a bill to repeal that in the House right now. Finally, they have a bill that removes Donald Trump from the president ballot. This will all become reality if we do not get out and vote. And so, we're online PCs in here. You're all rock stars. You are the boots on the ground, and you're doing what needs to be done. And let me tell you real quick, because I need to wrap up. Let me tell you how smart the Dems were the last election cycle. So I met with an election strategist, and I asked him, I said, look, how did they win? What did they do? What were the strategies? What were the games that they played? And some of you have heard this PC that I've told you the strategy. So what they did in the last election, they went through the list of all the voters who did not vote in the last 2 cycles. All the Democrats. And they called them as if they were Republicans. And said, hey, this is blah blah organization. We want you to come get out the vote with us. We're going to do this. All the talking points from the Republican Party. They called the Democrats and said, we need you to come vote so you can help us pass these laws. So they did that for 3 months. They called these people over and over again. So what happens when you get called as the other side of the party and you're being told, hey, we're going to do this, all the things you hate. Or you get riled up. So what they did is on month 4, they called as if they were the Democrat side, which they really were. And they said, hey, can you believe what the Republicans want to do? They're going to do this. And all these people said, oh my gosh, I've been called for 3 months from the other side saying that they're going to do all these things. Thank you. I'm going to come vote. And that's how they got out the vote.